program or test itself. No? The champion there for the face of the ANE or the AFS is no less than the national kamao, our boxing hero, Manny Pacquiao. The reason why he's now going to college because he passed the ANE, and the Department of Education gave him a certification or some sort of a diploma that certifies that he has already acquired the skills of a high school graduate. Now, moving on to the second objective. The second objective is about universal school participation and the elimination of dropouts as well as repetition. In the next slide, I'd like to put a caveat here that the net enrollment rate as well as the gross enrollment rate is still based on the 2000, 2000, and 2007 census. We all know that there's already a 2010 census. The initial calculation of the Department of Education as far as the net enrollment rate is concerned for elementary, we're now hovering around close to about 96%. That is for 2010. In here, using the old figure, the school year 2010-2011. I'm sorry, this is the ECE. Anyway, when we go to the elementary, this is for the early childhood. It now stands at 70, close to 76%, and with the enactment of the Kinder Act, this year, we're hoping that we can cover all the 5-year-olds in the Kinder program, either delivered by the Department of Education or delivered by other service providers, including possibly the current preschool program of DSWD. Okay, let me jump into the grade 1, the NER and GNR. As I've said earlier, on the net enrollment rate, in the recalculation of the Department of Education using the initial estimation of the 2010 population census, the gross enrollment rate is so close to about 96%. To be exact, it's around 95.9%. That's for elementary. But the bad news there is that if you dissect the net enrollment rate, more and more females are completing the elementary or participating in the school program, elementary school program, while that's around 97.5%, whilst the male is stood at 94.5%. So it only means that we really need to look at the way we deliver our program to make it interesting to males, no? Especially if you go to the secondary level. So for secondary, that is a bit of a challenge. Again, this is based on the 2000 and 2007 population data. Our initial estimate for using the 2010 data, the 81 would go up to about 88 or 89%. Our problem right now is to further disaggregate the 2010 population data by age, by single age, also by provincial as well as municipal level. Because in the previous, especially during the 1990s, the calculation is based on a regional calculation. It's not age disaggregated. It's more of age range disaggregated, meaning the National Statistics Office only gives us data on the 5 to 12, and then 13 to about 18. So which means we need to do a lot of statistical calculation to come up with the age disaggregation. The other reason why in the 90s the Philippines is hovering around 98% in participation is simply because at that point, prior to 2000, the data collection is at the level of the division. It's not at the school level. When we implemented the Basic Education Information System in early 2002, yeah, Lulay is here. She was the one who started the DIS, as well as my boss there, Yusef Mahani. That is when we were able to clean up the data. And the implication there is that the participation rate was going down because there was over-reporting in the past. Okay, on the dropout, mind you, we use the term right now, school leaver, for dropout. The reason being is that when you say school dropout or student dropout, that means the fault lies on the learner itself. While school leaver, you're highlighting the fact that it's the system's fault why children are not really going to the school itself. Okay, I think this is based on our conversation with one US, what's his name? Dr. Sheldon Schaefer. He suggested that perhaps we can consider changing the term itself. Okay. On the repetition, again, there's an improvement at the elementary level. Much to be done as far as coming up with relevant programs, which I later on will discuss to you. Okay. On the completion, this is measured by completion rate as well as national achievement test. No? For elementary, you can see there the data. It's some sort of a seesaw scenario. You go up, you go down, and so on. And the idea really is to make sure that all children who enter grade 1 will finally complete at least 90 or 100% even the level. And we are hoping that with the K-12 program, we'll be able to improve much on the completion or the efficiency of the system, particularly at the level of secondary, because we want to make the secondary relevant to the curriculum for secondary to be more relevant to secondary learners. Okay, the achievement on the other hand, whilst we are improving in elementary as well as secondary, a substantial improvement can be seen at the level of elementary. If you look at the secondary, again, much has to be desired. Again, it's linked to the curriculum itself and the way the curriculum is being delivered. Hence, in the current bill on K-12, or the title of the bill is Enhanced Basic Education Act. There's a provision there that will allow the Department of Education to hire non-LEP teachers. So meaning, for those who are teaching right now science, even though they're not licensed teachers, DepEd will be allowed to hire them to teach science or to teach physics or to teach the subjects, at least the core subjects. Okay, on total community commitment, one of which is the completion rate. If you compare the public and the private, you can see that the public school system is performing better than private schools, except that there are outliers, especially in the private schools. Okay, it goes through with, I mentioned this earlier about the gender participation. It's still the males and the females who are actively involved in the school programs rather than the males. Now, particularly when you go to secondary. In the data that we track from 2006 6 to the current, it's not